We are live right now with Brother Neil Frazier, ready to share his well-earned wisdom from the downloads and study. It's not just a study, but you got to be connected on a spiritual level to even make sense of what you download and read and connecting them like this. I find that there's so many people out here that are getting one without the other, and they spiral out of control and can't really cover the full spectrum of who they're teaching and who they're speaking to. But with you, brother, there's no running and hiding. If they don't get it one way, they're going to get it another way. They're not going to walk away from you untouched, you know, with what you have on the inside. And that's what I appreciate about you, because when you open your mouth and speak, they already know that this is a brother who knows what he's speaking about. And I welcome you once again to the platform, which is just as much yours as it is mine. Thank you for allowing me to work it behind the scenes so I could be next to you when you share this knowledge. You validate me.
Well, Brother Lance, thank you again, man, for the kind words. It's always good connecting with you on Mondays. And I must say that, you know, all my life, I've always competed for the #1 spot, brother, but you're the pace setter in this race. So I look at it. Huh?
I'm like those little things that when the horse races come, it keeps them even, but after a while, it opens up. I'm not in the race. I'm on your side, but I keep it even, but I step to the side, do my part, and let you fly.
Yeah, and that's a special gift to have. You know, you can't win anything. I was just talking to somebody this morning about what it takes to win a championship in anything. That you have to know your strengths and weaknesses. And many times people want to taunt their strengths, but they don't want to look. The most important thing is that you know your weaknesses and how to navigate around that. And so you can't be successful like you are without mastering that. And a lot of people, that is a stumbling block for them, because, you know, for ego or whatever you want to call it, we don't want to look in the mirror, okay, and look at both sides. We just want to see that one side that, you know, people like. So that in itself is a trait that I know that black males are really missing, where we had that trait before, but it's something that has just been gone out the window. Now we're competing against each other. Even in just little talks like this, you know, you got brothers can't even have a mature conversation without biting at each other. But there's a reason for that, and that's something we're going to discuss today.
That's very necessary, brother, because it's like our testosterone is misdirected. And we don't have the frame of mind. We have the mind.
Oh yeah, we have the mind.
Yeah, and it's almost like in this society where there's so much stress, institutionalized racism, low expectations where we know that we're great. It's very frustrating. It's like ice skating on a lake and falling into the lake, but when you try to come up and find the hole that you fell into, you're 10 feet over and you drown. So we know we have greatness inside of us, but we can't manifest it, or rather we are unable to, because we don't know where we stand. We have the perception and we have what actually is. You see?
Yeah, the reality. Yeah. But you know, it's funny you say that, because nowadays, and you know, we should be talking metaphysical, because that's a part of our makeup. But we live on this planet. We live on this planet. And it can get to a point where it's a form of escapism when we continue to talk about aliens and all of this other stuff. But that's just one plane of existence. But our major battle is here on this planet. And so we have to deal with issues that affect us here. You know, not what's going on in the cosmos, because you know what I'm saying? no matter what, contrary to what people believe, very few of us have ever like talked to an angel face to face.
Right.
It's a matter of us being focused, like your show, on issues that affect us here on this plane. That's very important.
Directly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, brother. I know it's time. And as you speak, I'm going to get these pictures downloaded, which I should have already done. I was squeezing it a lot. I got up early this morning for the first time in a long time. I was so enthusiastic about that. And I'm right here. I'll be popping in and popping out, and everything is set. And if for some reason there's a power outage, whatever, you're the only one, continue talking, and I'll be right back. Just it's been good these days, you know. So
good. Well, you're looking well, man. Must be.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you.
Mangoes must be real good over there.
It is. Everything is, you know, but it's how you work it.
Yeah.
You know, it's how you work it. You know, some people, they'll see a bicycle and say, man, I can't ride that thing. I can't get around in it. I can only drive a car. I'll see the bicycle and see a means of transportation. So for me, I can take what others may not see and make it an advantage for me. And before I switch over, I just want to say, I've been going into realms, not any hocus pocus stuff, but just in here of where I stand, where I should be, how I should be taking it, the speed, whether I should slow down a little bit on the curves.
The picture behind you, the first eye, your pineal gland is wide open, huh?
Exactly. It's like this. So I'm aware where my blip is on the radar screen, and I won't overextend. You know, when you're in a boxing match and you try to reach the opponent because he's far away, it takes away the effectiveness of your blows. You wait for the opponent to get within range. So certain things you operate in, you wait for it to get in range or put yourself so that it is in range. So when you execute, you hit the target every time. But we also have to have our resources mentally, spiritually, and physically, and just be aware of that. And it works wonders. You can get so much more done, you know?
Yeah.
But my brother, I'm gonna turn over the center stage to you.
Okay.
And I'm right here with you. Okay. I'm just gonna mute myself so there's no feedback over here. And let's just do it. I'm here, brother. Welcome back.
Well, thank you, Brother Lance. You know, this is the highlight of my week. You know, preparing for the family and connecting with you. Yes. And it's funny, the more you live and experience things, you realize that we are the ones that put up these physical barriers. We are the ones that put up these barriers because it's almost like I'm here with you. You know what I mean? But we put up these physical barriers, and a lot of times it keeps us from being able to see the full spectrum of our experience here. But today, I just want to greet everyone in the chat room, the family. I hope everybody had a productive weekend. And today, our subject is about the mental health status of Black men, also the root cause of it, and why we are facing a lot of the issues that we're facing. You know, whenever they put a narrative out here about us, when we start talking about, you know, things that are important to our survival as a people, as the original people here on the planet, they always say they're playing the victim card. Well, you can call it whatever you want. But today, we're going to cover the real root cause of the anguish, emotional and psychological anguish of Black men. What the root cause, because, you know, here at the Academy of Netter One, an Academy of Nature, which Netter is an ancient word for nature, that we deal with issues that are germane to our culture, and we do it from the divine principles of the creative spirit. So today we're focusing on the root and what our root chakra is, what roots mean in nature. And we're highlighting one of our greatest minds, Frantz Fanon, who wrote 2 brilliant books. The one we're going to discuss today is A Black Skin, White Mask. The other one was The Wretched of the Earth. And we're going to show through Frantz Fanon, who was a Afro-Frenchman, a medical doctor who specialized in the social psychology of the brain, psychiatrist, much like our ancestor, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. So we have the male and female Neteru psychiatrists who really left us a great body of work. I don't know how many people are familiar with Frantz Fanon, a brilliant brother who, you know, faced a lot of, because we think in America, you have to remember that the root of this is out of Europe. And so America is just a continuation of the die that was set way back before the Europeans came to this part of the world, or to the motherland, before they invaded it. So so let's delve into Frantz Fanon's philosophy and theory as a Black man, you know, growing up under colonialism there in Europe. He actually was born in San Martin, which is an island in the Atlantic, and his life is really a fascinating story. And again, here at the Academy of Netter One, we, as a Black think tank, we highlight our people who have made great contributions to the world that a lot of us don't know about, and a lot of our children don't know about, but they need to know about this great man, Frantz Fanon. So in Black Skin, White Mask, he basically broke down what the colonial structure did to Black men in particular when they invaded our lands. The one thing that he really highlighted in Black Skin, White Mask was that when they took over the lands, the indigenous people, once they were conquered physically and psychologically and spiritually, then they replaced our indigenous culture with their culture. And so, you know, their culture, they came from an environment that didn't have any resources. And so they had to basically fight, and in many cases, fight over food, animals to eat and survive. Certainly, they were not able to dig in the ground and get any resources. Thank you, brother. That's the book I recommend that should be in every Black home. Every Black child, woman, and man should read it, you know, rather than being on, you know, on artificial intelligence all day. This is the type of stuff, or this is the type of material that our people need to have in the home. But his major theory was that when the colonialists and the imperialists came to our lands, the first thing they did after they subdued us through force, and a lot of people don't know, now, they didn't just, Africans fought back. In fact, the Zulu wars lasted almost 100 years. So they did not just lay down, but once they conquered our lands, then what they did was they replaced their culture our culture with their culture, and that is very significant. That is a part of history that's often not addressed on purpose. But so what this produced was, once we our culture, our language, and the way that we view the world and live by nature was taken away, then whenever anyone referred to their original language, culture, or whatever, then they were looked at as primitive. And so this is a concept that we must understand and comprehend now, is that one of the things that they did, that they continue to do today, and why our people, and particularly Black men, are have a double consciousness when it comes to this, is that they made our culture seem, our natural culture, that it was primitive, and that whenever you referred to that, then you were not validated as someone that had a superior intellect. And this was very critical. And Frantz Fanon even went so deep as to point out that and then the generations that came after the initial colonization began to reject our original culture, and then take on the culture of the dominant culture, or white male psychological interpretation of the world, which is totally different or diametrically opposed to the natural system that we live by under the creator-creatrix spirit. And this is very critical. And so this is why whenever this is addressed, and why we're not taught about psychiatrists like Frantz Fanon, is because he actually, there was a experiment done, Black Like Me. I mean, what is the name of it? Let me get this correct. It's called Black Like Me, where this person actually took pills and got some type of treatment where their skin, where the melanin shots turned kind of dark, and then they enhanced it with whatever they needed to. And long story short, the experience that he experienced going from a white male, okay, Black Like Me, that's the name of the book. The experiences he had, he said, was like night and day. In fact, he began to see the world in a totally different way. And from that book, we learned that from a white male perspective, who actually lived in a Black skin, whether it was artificial or not, how they viewed it. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the other thing that Frantz Fanon taught us was that the psychology of imaging had a lot to do with how Black people, and Black men in particular during that time, began to see themselves, because then it was, you know, to be validated through their institutions, through their religion, through all of the things that we have to be validated through that culture. They begin to now take on these traits. So Lance, if you have that B.F. Skinner picture I sent you with the black rat in the box, if you could post it. I don't know if you're, but anyway, at some point we'll show it. But so to kind of support his theory, there is a psychologist, B.F. Skinner. I know it's kind of old school, but this theory still applies to our experiences today. B.F. Skinner, where he started out, and also Pavlov, and we'll talk about that a little bit when we get into the text, but we're still talking about the effects of Black male mental health, emotional effects, and the root. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, brother. B.F. Skinner, what he did was, and this theory is called operant conditioning. And there's also classical conditioning, but we want to focus on operant conditioning because this was the system that they put into effect millennia ago that is still in effect today, where it was based on environmental control and shaping the personality of Black individuals. And as you can see, what B.F. Skinner did with operant conditioning is based on rewards and punishment. So what B.F. Skinner did was he had a rat, he had him in this Skinner box. And so what he did was whenever the rat, he had like 3 different lights, a green light, a yellow light, and a red light. So when he flashed the green light, the rat was now being conditioned with a conditioned stimulus to pull the lever, because when he pulled the lever and the green light came on, then he got the food. But so then the yellow light, when he hit whatever the rat, how the rat reacted in the box, and he hit the wrong lever and the yellow light came on, there was no food. But when he hit the red, the one that produced the red light, there was a shock. Okay, so the rat began to be conditioned. Okay, well, here's the other thing he did too as well. No, that was Pavlov. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the reason why I'm talking about this Skinner box is because this is the exact same psychological system that was designed for Black males. Most of it came from the jealousy of Black male virility that they encountered when they first saw our brothers in the motherland. And this is why, even to this day, that Black male masculinity is a threat to them. And it's not only because of the physical stature, but it's also because we hold the Creator put in our genitals the existence of life, or the maintenance of life. So in other words, as Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, the female Nitaru, taught us, is that white male genetic annihilation is their biggest fear. And the ISIS Papers is a book that should be in every Black home, and our kids should read. And this is true. And going back to operant conditioning, so what the rat learned was that when the rat hit that green light, it was rewarded. Okay. But there was also a punishment side, that if it hit that red button, then it was going to get a shock. And this is why Black males learned what we call pain avoidance. Okay, that the European corrupted, but they actually begin to study how pain is associated with behavior. And this is at the root of, as I always say, I don't know why a lot of people don't realize, we're dealing with wickedness, man. Okay, because this was deliberately done. One of the the other things too, when they encountered us and they encountered our Mayatan law of, righteousness and balance, and justice and truth, this was something that they could not internalize. But at the same time, they began to hate these characteristics in us because they knew it was connected to the Creator. And, people can debate that all they want. I'm going to show you today how and why Black men are suffering from a mental illness, an emotional illness, and how we can overcome that. But I'll say right now, the only way we can overcome that is to embrace our Africanness, okay? You cannot continue to live as a white male, okay? This is at the root cause of the problem. Now, the other thing too with controlling the environment, okay? And I want to make this statement that Dr. Amos Wilson used to say all the time, that we still have the same fundamental relationship with white people that we've had since we encountered them. In other words, we still live according to their religious and educational institutions and indoctrination. We still look to them to provide all of our needs, including employment and business or whatever. We still look to them to define. But what's interesting about that is that whenever you talk to European or Caucasian psychologists or psychiatrists or they have no problem defining, going back into somebody's history and, bringing this out and, talking about all of the reasons why these behaviors are present in their community to justify a lot of the evilness that goes on, the murder, maim, and destruction of people, other people. But as soon as we begin to talk about it, then it's, the victim mentality. So I don't give a damn what you call it, okay? This is the reality of the situation. Now, we're not going to use that as an excuse to remain in a state of inertia. But what I'm doing is I'm dealing with the root causes of why Black men have this, carry around this emotional pain, and why we are unable to heal, and why this emotional pain is felt by our women and our children. Because no matter how you look at this, Black men are the original primordial personalities on the planet. And our history was subjugated simply to separate us from who we are. Now, let's move beyond the Skinner. Now we see that the box that we're in, we're given conditions, rewards, and punishments. And this is what they did to Black men, even on the plantations, is that they would reward you for the behavior that they wanted, even if it meant, degrading your own mother. We ain't gonna go into that. Then this is what you was rewarded. Just like today, the rappers and the other people that are degrading our culture, they are the ones that they reward on television, on whatever, YouTube, the likes and all this stuff. And you got to understand this and comprehend. One of the issues why we can't solve problems is because we're still thinking that these so-called saviors have our best interests at heart. See, it's not about hating someone. how you've been taught, it's about loving yourself. And so as a result of loving yourself, if other people feel any kind of way, then that's just too bad. Okay? Because every other culture, they worship their history and their culture. Now, we've been taught to think of things in a linear or 90-degree state, when the past, present, and future is always with us. And so as a result of all of these traumas, and I'm going to walk us down through the different stages of this trauma. I've identified 6 different areas. But before we get into that, we're going to start out with how we are affected in the womb of our mothers. There have been studies done where the fetus is affected by the level of stress. We already know they're affected by what the mother consumes, like during the crack era, when they said crack babies were born, sort of like that. But that's on the physical and biological level. I'm talking about on a psychological level. It's been proven that the utero actually can take in the stress from the mother and her environment through a neuronic process. The other thing too is you have to look at, when you look at the Black child in the womb, and the Black male in particular, the mother's, whatever the mother is taking in has a direct effect on, and these are studies that have been done. Also the socioeconomic condition of the parents, or mainly the mother, has a significant impact on when the child is born into the world. And of course, we know that the government set up projects not just to control Black families, but also to condition us. Because one of the other things we don't comprehend and understand is that traumatic experiences live on in your genes. Okay, this is a proven fact. That's why we talk about the genetic memory bank. And this is passed down through a biochemical process. And we have to comprehend how important this is. Black men, the thing is it's not making excuses, but I feel like we're better able as a think tank to discuss these issues and to solve them when we acknowledge the root of who, why, and who we are. And that's very important to move on with any type of therapy, is that we have to acknowledge that. But the socioeconomic status, give you an example, on the East Coast, I don't see very many projects here. But on the East Coast, in the projects, when a child is born into that environment, and I want to make this point so you can connect the dots, it's something that you're not just born into, the environment is born into you. Okay, so wherever you go, that's why you see, no matter where you go on this planet, you take you and you take your environmental experiences from a child with you. And that's why the majority of the time, Black males, wherever they go, they still encounter the same things, is because this environmental history is in, because we have the 12 neuronic melanated neuronic cells here, okay, that this goes with us wherever we go. Now, once we move beyond, and I want to talk about, okay, so I like I said, I identified 6 different different traumas that Black males experience, but I want to talk about the first trauma, the social trauma, involving images. And this was something that the European, this is one of his greatest weapons, or he and her, or whatever you want to call it. This is why we must always have images of our people wherever we are. And this is very critical. And I want to talk about a study that was done. Many of the family in the chat room are probably familiar with this. When the Black babies were in a room, and they had the Black dolls and the white dolls. Now, they talk about the fact that the Black babies always chose the white dolls over. But one part of the study that they never talked about, that to me, one of the reasons why because, you know, white people understand this concept about trauma and historical trauma that we somehow don't want to face. I don't know why. Maybe because they'll fool you with this narrative about being a victim. That's not something that you choose. That's a natural consequences of your experiences. So it's nothing wrong with that. Yes, Black men are victims of a vicious, evil system that was constructed primarily for them. So one of the things that they don't talk about with this study, and about a year ago I revisited it, is that yes, the Black kids under the age of a year old, they always chose the white dolls. Why was that? Because every image they see in media, every image they see as good or pure is white. So the thing that people didn't see, and this to me was the most traumatic thing, is when they took all the white dolls out of the room. And I don't know why they hid this part of the study. And I remember thinking to myself during that time, now why did they not include this when they put this out? They removed all the white dolls out of the room, and the Black babies start crying so hard because the Black dolls was left in the room with them and the white dolls were taken. Now you think about that. These Black babies, the little boys and the little girls, toddlers, was crying so hard with the Black dolls that looked like them in the room when they took, I mean, they was trying to grab the white dolls when they took them out the room. I personally saw this, okay? They don't have it when they show the study anymore. But this to me was such a traumatic thing and so I realized that, okay, from the very first time that we can comprehend anything, okay, and living in a misogynistic society, it affected young Black males the most. It affected the girls too. But to see those young Black boys crying like that when they removed those white dolls, it was traumatic for me. And this is something that we still suffer from today. In our subconscious mind, the archetypes, 99% of the images and archetypes are white. And Frantz Fanon talked about how this caused, in Black Skin, White Mask, this caused the indigenous culture now, whose culture was replaced, to have a natural inferiority complex. Because now you're saying that this culture that you introduce is superior. Okay, and these are the origins of, again, I don't like that word, supremacy. at all. There's nothing supreme about that. But what you know is that this is the origins of that. Because everything that you saw in society, white was pure and good, but black was evil, dirty, and bad. And even at that young age, that that was imprinted on black children's minds. And this is why I always say that symbols are very, very important for our people, that we must begin now to show the symbols of our people and talk about them, like this great black psychiatrist, Frantz Fanon. So when we move from that trauma, where, I mean, I can't get over that. Imagine the black dolls in the room with them. They removed the white dolls, which I thought was brilliant, because you have to get to the root of a problem. Okay, this is why we have so many issues. We don't want to deal with what our issues are. Okay, you cannot move forward without first solving issues. But when those babies was left with those black dolls, they went into a frenzy when those white dolls was taken out. And that is at the root of our psychosis. This is why we have so many mental health issues. You can go in any city, but if you go out here today, you'll see black men who are living on the streets, that are walking around like that movie, The Dead, or whatever they call them, the zombies. And this is why. It's because your only way out is to embrace your Africanness. You cannot, you could never be, first of all, a white male, and or any other kind of male. And you shouldn't want to be. And one of the reasons why we have emotional pain, oh yeah, this is what I wanted to get into. One of the reasons why we have, well, before I go into that, let me set up the different traumas that I identified. One is, the first one is the genetic trauma, from antiquity, and our ancestors, and they're always a part of us. Okay, I don't care what nobody else says, they are in us. Okay, so we have the historical genetic trauma. Then we have the psychological trauma, which deals with stress, emotional stress and anxiety, and we're going to deal with that. Then we have the physical trauma of just straight out murder, and these killers, state-sanctioned killers that are killing our people. And then we deal with the economic trauma, or the castration of black males, because when you live in a society where everything is based on materialism and how much you produce, and forget all of the other qualities that you as a black man possess in your chakras, this is the reason why all of that is denied. We're going to deal with that. We're going to deal with the spiritual trauma of worshiping white gods. All other cultures of people, their gods or deities look like them. And that's how it was for us in the beginning, and that was usurped as well. And then we're going to talk about the linguistic trauma. As I mentioned before, in our language, it's white is right and pure and good, and black is evil and dirty and bad. Now, let's deal with the first trauma, the genetic trauma, the historical trauma. Anytime you see anything about our culture here in this country, it's always a movie about slavery. It's always a movie about black people being from the bottom, fighting up. Where if it was based on truth, because these are all, these are these are historical facts, but at the same time, we don't talk about why that exists. Because America was founded on two massive crimes: the theft and the destruction of Aboriginal, or what they want to call Indian, when we're talking about Black folks, the destruction of Turtle Island, the murder, rape, and destruction of our culture and our women. And then the force, transportation, and kidnapping, okay, and forced labor for hundreds of years from Africans brought to this country, okay? And these two original crimes, like Dr. Amos Wilson always says, it's a crimogenic society, are still with us today. And those two massive crimes, okay, can never be, I don't care what they say about reparations. Yeah, they owe us, we want our land back, okay? So however you want to squirm about that, the money that they got and have passed down to their children, that's our money. And I'll debate any one of them on this. So you can lie and do all of these things you do, but the Netaru are released. The truth is released. And so we know through our genetic memory bank and the historical trauma of our people, the lynchings, the killings, all of this stuff. I was talking to a friend just last night about, and these are things our people don't know, you know. I love our people, man, but sometimes we're so innocent about things because we love, you know, whatever, these people so much. But the history of barbecuing, okay, when we love to barbecue, read the book, The Delectable Negro. When they lynched and killed our people, they would cut off different body parts and barbecue them. You know what I'm saying? And you do the math on what they do with it, because I don't want to get Lance channel flagged. But, you know, here's the thing is that when we look into the mirror of truth and we weigh the balance of history with the Miatan feather, then we know that you are guilty. So no matter what you say about Black men, the other thing too is when we look at that history, the greatest killers and murderers and rapists in the history of the world have the nerve to try to paint Black males, okay, who is 12% of the population in America, as violent killers and violent, what do they call it, menace to society. When we know the origin and the roots of this. Prior to this invasion, our people were loving people. This is why you have to create this lie about savages to justify the evil that was perpetrated on our people. So you came here with the Bible in one hand and the sword and the gunpowder in the other. And after killing millions of our people and giving them the Bible, and this is at the root of the schizophrenia that exists, and I'm talking about the genetic trauma and the historical genetic trauma right now of Black men, is that our people and our men who became these preachers believed in your system, believed that you believed in the creator of the universe, believed in your Christian doctrines, gave their lives for this, only to realize now that this was all a lie, a massive lie. There is no wonder that Black males are in the condition that they're in. You can say we're playing the victim card or whatever lies you use to continue to divide and confuse our people, but we know the truth. And when you came with this golden rule that you didn't live by, and our people still had to quote these scriptures while you castrated us, while you raped our women, while you beat us to a pulp, while you sick dogs on us, while you have these people that you call police today hunting us down. No, you're not going to escape this. So when we talk about Black male trauma, we know the root of this, and it's in our genetic history. And it's a part of, this is why, and this is no excuse for Black males who are out here perpetrating, in particular against their own people. But you were taught in the Skinner box. You were taught these behaviors because you were rewarded, first of all, when you degrade our culture and you treat our women the way you do and talk and do the things that you do on the national and global stage, then you are rewarded with that green light and that food that comes down when they're rat, because you know that now. You're conditioned that way. But because you know if you don't, and you hit that goddamn red button, that they're going to shock you. Okay. And the other thing about that too is I want to bring in the Pavlov classical conditioning, because this was used against our people too is very effectively. So, you know, the Pavlov, what he did with his dog, where he would have a stimuli, the meat. And when the dog saw the meat, he salivated naturally. This was a what they call a unconditioned stimulus, because it was a natural. So what happened was, and like they do our people, and our men in particular, is that when you see that meat, what they have validated, you know, how much money you got, how many cars you got, how many house, and they got our women stuck on this too as well. You salivate. But the interesting thing was, what Pavlov did was he introduced a conditional stimulus, a bell. So he began to associate the meat. Every time the dog saw the meat, then he would ring the bell. So in his mind, the dog associated getting the meat with the bell. But what was most interesting is, so what he did was he removed the meat and then he just rang the bell, and the dog still salivated because he then began to associate the bell like they do our people. Even though the real meat wasn't there, because you don't have real meat. You have artificial meat, or whatever you want to call it, inorganic meat or whatever. When the dog finally realized, after so many times of ringing the bell with no meat, then he went into what they call extinction. Like a lot of our people do, we forget our history. But the minute he brought that meat back, okay, like cultural assimilation, like Frantz Fanon talked about, when he brought that meat back and he rang that bell, the dog began to associate that. We call it association. Acquisition. with the bell. And so this is what they do. They have certain things in our society that you associate, like the bell, with what real meat is. But it's not. You are just conditioned that way. And so they have conditioned Black men, particularly what's interesting in these images they create of thugs and, you know, these so-called young Black men that they have conditioned to believe that that's manhood, which is not. It's really punkhood. And that they have conditioned them, because every time they do this, they reward them. And then they punish them. This is the other part of the operant conditioning, is that they get punished when they hit that red light saying, no, we ain't gonna do that no more. Then they get that, like ye did. And then, you know, they come, they take away your money, they shock you, they defame your character before the world. This is the same playbook. So moving beyond genetic trauma, let's deal with psychological trauma, which is stress and anxiety. And what is the root cause of psychological trauma? Well, we know from when we talked about the study that was done when the white dolls were removed and only the Black dolls, this is where self-hatred is originated from. Whenever you're just left with dealing with your own, then you become combative, you become jealous, you become envious. All of these negative things, when you see brothers like me or Lance or other people in the chat room, then you become combative or angry. But when the white dolls are reintroduced, you become happy again. You see? So this is not just in your conscious mind, this is in your subconscious mind as well. And this is at the root of the issue with ourselves. And this is like Malcolm always said, who taught you to hate yourself? But you'll see, the more you love yourself, the more you can then now reverse. Okay, when you see yourself as the deity, which you are, then you can reverse this. But one of the things, and this is why, you know, I'm always talking about not passing these concepts down to our children, because what you don't know is that you are putting the same archetypes that oppress us in the minds of our children. And this is how they do it. Because I used to wonder, because when Dr. Amos used to say that in order for 90% of the people in the world to be controlled by 10% of the people in the world, there has to be something else going on, because that's not physically possible, but it's spiritually and psychologically possible. So when you're getting all these uploads, you need to be downloading our culture, because that's the only way you're going to block this artificial stuff. So when we move beyond the psychological trauma and the stress, and by the way, this stress is what brings on a lot of the emotional and mental health problems that Black men suffer. Okay. Trying to, oh yeah, this is what. So the only way you're validated, even by your women, is that you show the same attributes of a white male, or what they call success, which is not success at all. Okay, success is manifesting your purpose for you and your people. But you don't see it that way. You see it as being an individual that has because they make you think, because they don't think this way behind closed doors, but they make you think that, oh yeah, I got this on my own, and there's no such thing. And even if you did, which you can't, you still cannot, that seed cannot grow into a tree and have branches unless you spread it. So you've been confused and fooled and bamboozled and brainwashed from the jump on that. And this is why Black men can't come together to help each other. Because the one want to stand on this side like a white man, like, yeah, I got mine, nigga, what you got? I got this, what you got? You know, this kind of nonsense. I'm just so sick of it. You have to grow up. And the other thing too is you may not want to face this, but you have a natural enemy, okay? And as soon as you recognize this, our people will rise, or Black men will rise. But until you recognize this and understand that you have to help brothers like Lance, and you have to continue to fight and not try to live according to these unholy and wicked and evil standards that's been set before you. I'm talking to my brothers today. You have got to grow the fuck up. We have no more time for this. Okay, those material things that you worship and trying to get to impress. You know what? First of all, a real woman.
Preach. Tell them.
The real woman. I was talking to a friend of mine. She contacted me a few days ago that I went to school with at Clark, Atlanta. She said, Neil, I was thinking about you. I went on Facebook and I found you. I couldn't believe it. And she said, you know, it's just a sad situation that we're in. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It is a sad situation we're in. But now, Black men have got to take some responsibility for this today. All this bull crap, I don't care what you did, you know, about they trying to tell you, oh, well, you abandon your family, or you abandon your children, or abandon your women. That is all bullshit, okay? You have the power to reconnect with your family, your children, even if you're spiritual. They don't have to be biological. We have got to cross this bridge. You cannot, okay, let people tell you who have taken all your resources that you're not a man if you're not living up to their standards, because they got the resources that they took from you in your lands. So stop trying to do that, first of all. Take the mask off, black skin, white mask, take that white mask off, okay, and live in your skin. And that means being conscious of your African self, your Ba, your soul, who you are. Okay, so we need to stop this foolishness, because the psychological energy that you are passing to the next generation is what's going to kill our children. You're going to do that. So let's look at the physical trauma. Now, we all know, dating back from the Romans, that these people always used the sword and gunpowder to subdue other people. Now, you can say what you want. Why would the creator and creatrix of the universe, or creatrix creator of the universe, why would they have you killing millions of people they created because you can't put a spirit in somebody, and then set you up as being the image that the world should want to aspire to? No. No. You have been bamboozled, black men, because you are trying to live up, and I know why you do it, because our women are talk. Dusty, I have to call you back, brother. I have to call you back. Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay, brother.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, because our women that they have bamboozled with materialism, you know, we're going to say what it is. Our men are trying to provide material things that we can never do. And this is what causes the emotional pain that our men go through. Stop that. A real woman is not going to judge you off materialism. Now, I don't want to confuse this with somebody that's just using our sisters and trying to get over that. I ain't talking about that. But when you encounter a real woman, a real sister, she is going to build and help you, regardless to whether you live up to this image that these people who have stolen everything from us and now saying, you're not a real man unless you have this, live up to. Stop this today. Stop it. Because you, in America, you will never, and I want black men to hear me real good, you will never have the materialistic wealth that these people have stolen from us. They'll kill you first. So we have to build with what we have and stop this childish behavior of being jealous of our brothers like Lance, who have put themselves out here fighting for our people because you don't want to do it. I'm talking to my brothers right now. The other thing, beyond the physical trauma, we know about the killings and the lynchings and all of this. The killing in the streets by these state-sanctioned people that they call police that are killing our people in the streets. This type of evil trauma affects black men. And you can say the victim card or the racist card or whatever the hell you want, excuse you want to use. But this is directly used to destroy the black male virility, which they cannot stand, is why they want to put our men in dresses, okay? Because real black men is the #1 threat to their culture. You can say whatever the hell you want. And that's the reality that our brothers are facing. But the only way we're going to overcome that is to unite. So you can continue to believe these lies about you being an individual. Oh, I got mine and how many bitches I have. I can pick up in my Rolls Royce or whatever. We're gonna be steamrolled because you don't want to wake up. Now, let's move from the physical trauma to economic trauma, which is castration. Because in this society and culture we live in, a man, and I think I heard Chris Rock say this, that people only love women and dogs or pets, but that a black man is judged by what he can produce. Now, with that said, this is why you're blocked in every single thing involving economics, okay? I don't give a damn, they can call it victim mentality, whatever. Unemployment, business, banks, whatever category you want to look at, you are checkmated for a reason, okay? And the reason is because they are frightened of black male virility. Because we have in our balls, I don't know if that's appropriate language, but we have in our balls.
Yes, it is, brother. Let it flow. Let it flow.
Okay, thank you, brother. I don't want these people to penalize you for something I say.
No. But see, what it is that what you're stating is facts.
Okay.
Even if they do, I'm gonna use their laws against them. They got to return things. So you're speaking facts. They may not like, but you're speaking facts. Go ahead, brother. Thank you so much.
Okay. So in our balls that we learned from our great ancestor, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, is that their biggest fear is genetic annihilation. And this is why they keep us subjugated economically, okay? Because literally we can extinguish them like a extinct species, okay? So we have this economic castration to make Black men look inadequate or inept. And then they prop Dignesha and they put her in positions of authority over us when we live in a patriotic society, which is, and this is what caused another trauma for Black men, is that we always had the God goddess or Netaru concept. Always. There was no separation. This is why they took the female out of their story, their trinity. There's no such thing as no Holy Ghost. That's Dignesh. That's Aset. That's Mayat. And the sooner you understand that, the better off we'll be as a people. Now I'm talking to our sisters. This foolishness has got to stop. You cannot judge Black men on materialism. What you can judge him on is his character, what's in his chakras, and what he's willing to do to produce for himself and other people like him. And if he's not willing to do that, then you can judge him on that. But to try to say that he has to be a millionaire or have all this and do all that, that's got to go. Okay. We're not going to win this battle against these evil people if we continue to operate in their system that way. But I don't want to, our sisters have a lot on their shoulders. I want to keep this strictly with Black men, if that's okay. So the other thing is with the economic trauma and the castration is that no matter how far a Black man progresses, he's always going to be reminded, or they're always going to remind us on the television, on these devices or whatever, of the 10% of our men who are out here that have forgotten who the hell they are and who are trying to scavenge and survive off our own people through self-hate, and that are being rewarded for this degraded behavior. But like I heard a saying before, in order for evil to persist and bad people to flourish, is that, for lack of a better word, good people do nothing. And so we're saying today, we stand opposed to your system that have destroyed our Black men and continued to try to destroy our children. We're opposed to that. And we're not going to sit around and let you use these words like, oh, the victim card, oh, the racist card. No, this is your history, okay? This is your documented history. So you can call it what the hell you want. This is the reality. Now, we're going to move from the economic trauma into one of the most critical traumas that Black men suffer from. And I have to take it back a little bit, spiritual trauma. Because we have to go back in history. Like I said, when they first came to this country, even to the motherland, wherever they went, they had the Bible in one hand, a sword and gunpowder in the other, right? When they left, they had killed and raped millions of our people, but we still had the Bible. Okay. So we fast forward to here on the plantations when they subdued our people and beat us into this religion and put us in that Skinner box. And then they rewarded us whenever we regurgitated the things in the Bible that favored them. Slaves should love their masters, or some foolishness like that, or something like that. But then you get that shock, okay, when you like Nat Turner say, oh no, we finna fight against this. Or, we're gonna run away from this evilness, You get that shock. Or you get the Pavlovian dog where they give you that meat, okay, and then they take away the meat or the money, but they associate that bell of success, but they don't give you the meat that you need to be successful. You see what I'm saying? So all of these things have and has had a critical emotional and psychological effect on Black men. But the deepest, now we've studied betrayal. One of the greatest pains that Black males suffer is through spiritual betrayal. And I look at my own father to see this. They believed in this, man. They believed in this stuff to the point where they would cut off their own children if you didn't follow it, like my father did me. If you don't go with this wicked, evil bullshit, your own people will cut you off. And I'm sure there are plenty of people that had this thing, and that still affects me today. That my father died without us ever coming together because of a slave religion that cut him off from his male sons who didn't follow in his footsteps. I did for a minute until I found out the truth. And this is at the root. I've talked to many brothers. I've talked to many brothers all over this country that this is at the root, because when our women meet us, the first thing they ask, what church you go to? Or how strong is your faith? And based on your answer, everything else is a mute. This is that Skinner box that you see that black rat in, us. Because our men would sometimes have to lie and pretend or go to church when they didn't want to be there, simply because Dignesh would not accept them unless they accepted this wicked indoctrination. And that's what it is. And this is at the root of the spiritual pain that Black men have, even to this day. Even to this day, that Black men that don't love Jesus are looked at as some kind of infidel. And my sisters, you know I'm talking truth. They're looked at as something less than a man if they don't love Jesus. And this is a fact. This is the spiritual pain that all Black men live with. I know. So you can pretend and act like this is not a reality, but our Black men are judged on how much they love Jesus. Okay. And if they're not going with that, then they are cast out and castrated by our own women. And like I said, I'm not trying to come down on our sisters. I'm just speaking truth. Okay. And I've been on this earth a long time. And this has got to stop. We cannot judge our men based on whether or not they're worshiping Serapis Christus. This has got to stop. Okay. Many of our Black men have good hearts and they're chakras, but they have this double consciousness because they are forced to try to be white men, which we can never be. So this spiritual trauma really is at the root of the mental health and emotional pain of Black men. So let's move into the final trauma that Black men experience. And this is linguistic trauma. And this is something that's not talked about, because everything in this language degrades Blackness. But everything in this language, when it looks at whiteness as pure, perfect, angelic, Christian, you know, loving, as hard as that to believe. But when you look at black, and this is what our children are seeing, unless you change this, bad, destructive, violent, evil, when we know the greatest historical record of murder, rape, criminality, hatred comes out of European culture. And with that, brother, I'll close.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure and an honor and a learning experience. You said some things today, man.
Yes, sir.
Really?
It's been on my heart, man, because see, our people got to come out of this illusion, man. Because these people they're not playing, bro. And see, here living in California, well, you know how it is you're from New York City, you know, but it's the same way here.
Oh, I know. It's all over the country. Yeah.
It's all over the country. And so, you know, we still pretending like, this is serious, brother. and you know, this is serious. And we have to confront this. We have to talk about it. And more importantly, our people have to come out of this fog, because they are destroying black men every day, and they're destroying our young black men.
More so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have to control my emotions when I talk about stuff like this, because I have to keep in mind too, brother. I don't want to bring no shade with these evil people onto your platform.
No, the audio is all covered. Everything is replicated on so many platforms. Even the other video platform that I paid to have everything on, they shut me.
The .com.
I keep everything on audio, and I'm gonna get a storage. What do we say now? What do we call it? Not just the external, but it's a really big one, because the video files are so big. It's over 5,500 something videos. Oh, wow. So it's just video. So I gotta physically download them, you know, because they're snatching down channels left and right just because that don't fit their agenda of us hating each other,
right?
Of us putting the men in dresses or beating all women or calling or acting like thugs. If it's not that, it's not acceptable, you know.
Oh yeah, you're not rewarded. You're not rewarded.
No.
Yeah. You're
no,
punished.
by no means. No.
You're punished.
Yeah.
With that B.F. Skinner, that operant conditioning, brother. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm too old for that. I know exactly how to dip in and how to dodge, whatever, you know. They ain't getting me. I'm right there in their face, and they trying to hit me, and they can't get me. You know
you are definitely right there in their face. You know. So it's always good, man. It's always good, brother, when we have the ability to voice truth and uncensored, because it really is like a healing for our people. You know? Is. And so, I don't care about what they try to do to me. I don't really care about that, because there is nothing in this wicked system that I need, brother. Nothing.
Nothing's gonna happen. See, you're living victoriously because you don't have that deep-seated need to be that white man or fight hard and get like force for useless pieces of paper just to have his trinkets around that he can either repossess back or have others fight over. You know, once you understand that you're free. Yeah. You know, once you understand you're free, and so I only get what I need, and I ask myself, do I need this? Most of the time. Yeah. So I'm free right now. And I mean, there have been times when you are coming up in that trash can mentality called America. I'm not knocking my people. I'm just saying that place that has all these conditions, right? That's saturated our minds. Right. I was out of it before I left. I was out. I was never in that mentality because I was raised a certain way, but what little bit did touch me, I was out of it years and years before I left. I mean, I've always been this way. So to finally have it gone this way and to not see it, and we still have those same factors here in West Africa. but to be somewhere else and away from the original root is a wonderful thing.
Huh? That's amazing
Exactly.
to go all the way to another continent and see the same spirits.
Churches on every corner. People telling me, oh man, and telling me really feeling it too.
Oh yeah.
You know, brother, we need to get this white man as your savior. You know, there's no other way out.
And then they bastardize you because you're not feeling it. Like something is wrong with you.
Yeah. So I'm blackballed in certain neighborhoods.
Oh,
not really blackballed. I've said some things. I may no, but it's not even just a matter of saying anything and arguing with anybody because that's a waste of time. The main thing is what I would do is ask a question and make them think. Because they always come at me. Some stay away now. I don't get upset. I don't challenge them and, oh, no, it's not this way. No, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I let them shoot their shot and I ask them a question and I'm not friendly with them. I'm friendly. Sometimes, some days I want to go out and I'm going to videotape them. Say, listen, I want you to talk to me. I have many people who listen to my channel. I want you to speak to them. Then I'm going to ask them certain questions and I'm going to make them speak to you. You see what I mean? And I want to see how they answer those questions. And don't turn Ralph Cramden on me and start that hamada. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I started asking them because there was one lady who, she cursed me down by the mall. She came up all nice. They sent her to me too because she was, you know, shapely and looking nice, but she was dressed decent. Oh, brother Howie, can I speak to you for a second? She thought she was going to get me on that semi-flirt level. Like she kind of put it on a little thick because maybe I'm a tourist and I have money or something. Everybody thinks I'm a tourist outside of this neighborhood.
Right.
You know? So I said, okay, sure. No,
what's the name they call you?
Abroni. It's spelled different ways.
What does that mean?
Okay, that means foreigner. I'm going to spell it in the chat room, but there are different ways of spelling it. And they have different words too. But Abroni. So lots of times when you're walking down the street and you see some brothers and sisters selling things or they're stationary standing there, you hear them speaking in tree and you'll hear the word under the breath, Abroni. So Abroni. Or you're in the store shopping and they say, oh, Abroni. So that means Jack.
Sucker or something.
Yeah, but that means foreigner. Right. Okay. And they feel sometimes they have an advantage over you because you're a foreigner. Right. The price goes up a little bit when you're about that. Not all the time, but you're different. See, we come and we say, yes, my black brother, we're together as a family. This is the motherland. And some who may hustle you will say that. Other ones are sincere. They do have some sincere people out here. Yeah. But they're not thinking black. They're not thinking melanated. They're thinking, oh, a Bruni means foreigner. And originally, a Bruni meant white man. So now they've extended it. Yeah, they extended it to all. I could be jet black. But if I'm from America, I'm a Bruni. You see what I mean? That's how it works.
That's that conditioning, bro.
Yep. So
that's amazing.
One guy, I was in the mall one time interviewing this rapper. He sat there. I always run into him. He's always hustling, but he's doing good because he's getting on TV, different groups and stuff. So I saw him one time. I said, come on, man, let's do a video. Every time I see him, we do a little video, a little 10-minute video. So what's been going on with you, man? He telling me different things. After I hit the camera off, he's like, Lance, there's something I wanted to ask you. I said, what? Are you a white man? I was like, oh, what? Are you a white man? How ignorant. Can't you look at me and tell, I mean, my we all come from all different complexions, y'all. But can't you tell me I don't have any hair, but come on. Wow. Am I Chinese? Am I Asian? Deep. Am I Indian?
That's deep.
I know the slave masters been messing around back in the bloodline on my mother's side more so. Right. But come on now. But that's the thing. They don't see Nigerians. That's just down the road. Two little small countries between us as black men and women. They see Nigerians as Nigerians. See, it's a nationalistic thing here more so.
Yeah.
Right? Because everything is black for the most part. I mean, you have the people who move here from Lebanon and Turkey and the UK and America. Right. The majority of people here is black, but the mind is not. I know you got to go, brother.
No.
Yeah, but let me know because I'm gonna rap with you for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's
but that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. So they're thinking of it as nationality, And that's done by purpose, because if we see each other as the different divided nations, imagine all black got together here. They don't want that. That's why they made all these separate boundaries. So if I cross over, see, you would be a different nationality if this was Africa, and I would look at you different. Now, some understand are beginning to understand. I'm not going to lie and say that all the people here just see it as what country you are. But then here, what they won't tell you, just like over on that part of the world where you'll see, say, for example, Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, right? No matter what the color, but just say a black Dominican and black Puerto Rican. If you call a Puerto Rican a Dominican, you're Dominican, right? What? Don't call me that.
What?
Right? Yeah, but see, that's some East Coast stuff. That's the way it is. And Mexicans may not like.
My son is married to a Dominican in New York. They're still in Jamaica, Queens. Yeah,
Jamaica, Queens, my hometown. Yeah, so those are things that are not really. Sometimes with the generations, it kind of fades. Yeah. But that's something at the root. You don't call Puerto Rican a Dominican. Yeah, and they can be nice to each other, but
that's like down, out here. You don't call, like, people tend to think all Latinos are Mexican. No, that is not true. There's a big difference between, like, my familia from El Salvador, people from Guatemala, from Honduras. They're totally different than the Mexicans. The Mexicans run California, bro.
Yeah. And we step right in the middle of it. We don't know.
Right.
To differentiate, if you're around them a while, you could tell, but we kind of blanket the whole thing. It's just even though black people in America know that we're black people in America, we have our divisions too. North, south, east, west, north, educated, non-educated, light, dark, religion, ideology, schools.
Yes.
Caribbean, Black, American, African, we're the most divided up. We're sliced up into tiny pieces.
You know what pisses me off? As soon as somebody contact you, where you from? Where you from, bro? Like, what the hell you talking? I'm from Earth. Where you from? You know, this is what keeps us divided.
You're right, bro.
Man, this is so crazy, bro. This is 2023. Okay. Black people need to get all of this foolishness out of our culture, bro. Seriously.
See, every step I walk, that's all I do. I don't go out with a bullhorn, but as whatever's in my path as far as ignorance is concerned, I just correct it or drop a seed or challenge them. And lots of times when they see me again, Bruni, I'm sorry, they'll still say it. Sometimes they say it to your face. Lots of times they don't. But sometimes I come out and say it and let them know I know what time it is. And they start laughing because, like, man, you know this about me. And it's not everybody, but they all know that word. You know what I mean? So and what comes with that is a subservience also, because many here are broken in ways they don't even realize. Like sometimes you walk down the street, like I took a walk earlier. And I'll get the eye contact with certain brothers that stand around, good evening, and many speak English, most speak English, but a nod, the universal nod and a smile, and sometimes you'll see them on the phone or just sitting there and they look up at you and get eye contact and put their head down. See, those are things that many people don't notice real quick. We're talking men in an unguarded moment. They don't even realize that they do it. You see it collectively. You'll see some who see you and greet you, hey, brother, how you doing? That's good. But there's a lot because in their mind, and I notice it depending on how I dress. I dress down, man. I got a million black t-shirts, black shorts, like whatever. I'm not really throwing no jewelry on or nothing like that. I go plain, because I don't want anybody to look at me and think I'm not trying to hide where I come from. They know where I come from, but I'm not trying to come off pretentious with this thing that I'm walking, because there's a lot of people who come from America and the UK that are black. They come here on some nose up in the air business.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really bad. And I've had to correct some of them over here too, because you have some here Ghanaian who want to look down on me.
Oh,
I don't have any. Yeah, because see, what it is that it's not a racism thing. It is with the religion and everything, but you also have the status thing, which inadvertently is a racism thing, because the more status you have in connection to the UK, and you might be a leader here, you might be in politics here, and you have flown to the UK, and that's where your kids go get their hospitalization and their education. But when you come here,
than you, because I'm more connected to them.
Right. But if I go to the market where you have some of the poorer people, I hate to say it that way, who may not be in position to have a job or may not be skilled, they may come from one of the villages, but they come here because more money's flowing, and I go amongst people and pick up some things that I can bring home, as opposed to going to the affluent side of town like I could. And if I'm over there, I see some things like products from America, I'll get them. But we go amongst the people. When you see us do it on Walk and Talks, I can take you to some, and like I said, we're not driving now, but when I start driving, I can drive into some of these places miles away. You wouldn't believe. You'd be like, wait a second, is that Beverly Hills? And even then, I still like to walk amongst the people. Like after this,
Accra is the big city there, right?
It's the big city, and it's not a representation. It's not a representation of the real Ghana, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Brother, I know you got to go now. I know
no.
if you. Okay.
I'm just watching. They'll be there.
Okay, all right. Yeah, but this is not the real representation. This is the hustle, the bustle, the facade of trying to be something you're not. Not everybody, but you have a lot of that going on. You have a lot of people that in that status thing, because it's about status first and foremost here. Who drives vehicle, who has the biggest connection. And you have a lot of people who may not have gotten to that status, but were trying for it and never made it.
Because you have some rich people, you have a rich class there too.
What? You know how much money is here? But it's controlled by the few, just like in America.
Yeah.
And you got some money up in here.
I know.
And not to mention people from other countries who are affluent that have moved here and have multiple dwellings here. Nigeria, Kenya, Gambia, South Africa, United States. They got dudes that are here that I could never live that way in the States. They're here, but they got places in the States that are like, and people don't understand that. So when they get with the other countries who condone them and give them kickbacks and legitimate sounding business connections, their nose is really up in the air. They look at me like, you American, but you piece of crap. But I'm not here to act like, oh, I'm American, you got to worship me. Y'all see me in the videos in the streets. We talk to people. We don't walk with no fear. Right now it's 8:38. I might take a walk and then come on back later on. Later on, I'm free flowing. And when I go out there, where's my camera? Oh, it's over on the other side. Well, I got one right here doing something right now. You see what I mean? I did some stuff, all kind of gadgets. I'm never too far from the camera. It's like Thor and the hammer. I'm never too far. But the thing is,
something I noticed though, the Africans that come from the UK, they really think they white. I mean, now the ones that come directly from the motherland, they cool. But it's the ones that come from the UK, they are basically white.
You supposed to, they so up in the air that when they pay gas, you're supposed to go, ooh, what cologne is that you're wearing?
Right,
they think, you can't tell them a thing because they were up near that mentality. There's something about the UK when you get there first. Now, I know some who have been there. The ones who have been there, I know a guy who works at the Jubilee House 2 steps below the president. I was very lucky to get that connection for many reasons, and I'm going to try to get him on the show, right? But he's not going to say anything controversial, but he talks with me and lets me know the deal. So I know the deal about a lot of things from the horse's mouth. And there, like I said, and I'm not saying I lucked out because of his position. I just lucked out because of the connection to get the insight from the horse's mouth of things they won't say publicly, but I'm getting it this way.
Right.
I know, I'm not going to say I know everything, but I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I'm going to have some.
Pay taxes? You pay taxes there?
Taxes? No.
No taxes?
No taxes. Not yet.
What?
Not yet.
Oh, wow.
No, not yet. There's tax, but not yet. I'm kind of dipping and dodging, not in a bad.
I don't mean you personally, but I mean the citizens.
Yeah. There are taxes here. There are taxes here, but it's different.
You couldn't pay for necessities, huh?
But things are so cheap, relatively to America. I'm not saying cheap, bad, but there's a lot of things here comparatively that are like, I'm going to say inferior to what we've gotten used to in the States as far as products are concerned. You ain't getting no hefty bags out here or the equivalent of hefty bags. One of the complaints is that the plastic bags that they sell here, various companies, right? Garbage bags, heavy duty garbage bags. Don't lift it up too fast because all the garbage is going to stay on the ground and you're going to have or even in the supermarkets when they bag your stuff up and you have boxes, right? It just pokes through and you lift it up. It's like you got to double bag it. I mean, certain things that you've gotten used to, right? I mean, you get bug spray. There's a lot of little bugs. You open your door, your windows are open, they will come in. But you get bug spray, you might as well spray it on you like some kind of deodorant because you see some bugs right here and you spray them, you hit them with it, and they look at you like, hey, man, thanks for my antennas, right? Hit me with a little more like that. Yeah. Weak.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just little things like that you notice. I'm not saying America is better, but there's a lot of things that they do here that they get over on quality-wise. You got to work around it.
Yeah.
You got to see if you don't know certain things here, they're not going to tell you. That's when you ask me about the taxes and stuff. If you don't know certain things, they're not going to tell you. With your status here. Now, see, me being here, I still have to pay taxes to America.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah. But my status keeps me from having to really do things here like that. But I have to decide certain things that it's not there yet, so I can't. There's different options.
Oh, you mean business taxes? Business taxes.
Business. What you mean, like in America? No. I have to pay taxes like I'm there.
What?
This don't mean nothing. I don't get away from that. I don't get much. I don't have to pay much because I'm retired. I get a small retirement check.
Oh yeah, okay.
Anything else I make through America, I better pay them taxes.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh yeah.
Well, look, I got like 2% left on my phone.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joel. Yeah, definitely, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Peace, love. And
always
I'll be in touch with you this week. I'm trying to keep up with you, man.
I got some stuff going up now. But take care. We'll talk. We got to do a freestyle conversation like this on the show. I know folks enjoy it.
I told you I'm working at night now. I'm driving limos for
Yeah. I'm going to try to get to bed earlier, but I will get up earlier at a time when you're probably still up so we can still do, you know what I mean?
Okay, that'll work. The mornings will work.
Definitely, man. So I'll talk to you, man. Do your thing. All right?
Yes, sir. Be good.
All right, my brother. All right. Peace. Yes, indeed. I always rap a little bit after this. I'm not going to rap too much that I can't do. It won't be a 10 o'clock show. It might be 11. I want to take a walk out. These lights are terrible. I got all this green around me because this background is fake. It's nothing but a green wall. So around my edges, I don't know. I got to bring the camera down a little closer. I don't know. We'll see how I go, but I'm not going to stay too long. How was everybody doing tonight? Let me see what everybody's talking about. Okay. I see Glow says on their identification, they identify as white, and that's a fact. Yeah, let me see. Met a guy from Africa, so probably in the States, most of them shacks. Yeah. They do start out. Yeah. See, the thing is, it depends on the mentality of that one who has come over to do business. And lots of times, I'm not saying everybody, but because of the mentality that they have, they're not going to give any more than what they think they should. They're not going to. Case in point, I'm going to blow this guy up here. I thought I was cool with him, and I'm cool, but I see some practices that are not acceptable. And that's why I haven't moved forward with really pushing, them businesses he's doing, because if it's not going to be because of how they've dealt. Not mad at nobody, but I'm not going to pass on something sour. And I find that many who may own properties, it's a get over thing. It's like they're not, and I'm not saying all Africans, I'm not saying that, but many don't think because, you know, they talk the brother talk or the motherland talk, they give this guy a break type thing. You got to hold everybody to task, no matter who it is. Everybody, no matter who it is, because a lot of people come with the talk. There's a woman who lived across the hall, and we've been having issues, minor things, nothing that's, you know, but annoying things. You're supposed to take care of your people. I could take care of myself, but in this situation, you pay up your money. And there's certain things that when they go, you have to repair. You don't wait months. Come on. And you well-to-do. Come on. Minor things, minor things that, you know, it's ridiculous. So she had moved 2 blocks down. She found another place. It was time for her lease to be up. Man, she found, and I'm not into the apartments like that. This place is not a place where we are decorating and fixing up and putting pictures. This is just a warehouse to lay our heads until, and you all know, until the house is finished. But she found a place that was a palace. I was quite impressed. Less money than here, bigger, and everything detailed. That would be the perfect place if somebody wanted to come out in an apartment. That is a place I'd recommend. There's like only maybe 3 units there. It's huge. It's finished off nice. They got the dish, the TV going. The kitchen is all modern, beyond modern. And I hate to say, I don't really hate to say it, but the woman that owns that building is from the States. And she has a certain standard. And she says, I'm not gonna put anybody through less of a standard than I would aspire to or like. And I had to say, she went over and above. And I mean, still, and I put it out there before. This apartment is $2,600 for the year. Good price, because I know people paying $2,600 for the month. But that has nothing to do with it. That's the way it is. You have some more, you have some less. She paid less, and I mean, fabulous. We were over there the other day, me and Mrs. Scurv, just to go over there and talk to her and hang out a little bit. And beautiful place. You know, I know she's a private person, and I wouldn't go over there with the camera like that. But when I went there, when she first moved there, she said, come on over, let me show you. And I could not, the bathroom appliances. But then again, like I said, it's about the landlord, the person, their standard. Because I know in New York City, when I was renting out different parts of my house, it had to be, people were like, yo, please, I'll pay more money. Don't give it to that other person. Give it to me. I gave you cable, you know, the good tile, good rug, wherever you wanted it. The brand, everything was brand new because I ripped everything out and put it back together again. And people were bugging, like nobody does this in New York. You know what I mean? So that's just the way I am. And finishing up there, that's just the way we are. We're going to make it, we're going to hook it off a little bit at a time. Like certain things you don't cut corners with. If you don't have the money, you save and you wait. Certain things, quality you have to have. Best to just wait a year or two, take your time, do it the right way. When it's done, it's done. When it's done with quality, it lasts, maybe not forever, but when you choppy and cutting corners like this, there's always going to be something to repair back again. You use cheap appliances or you know, shower heads and all those things break, they're plastic, they drop one time, they're going to drop. That's natural from use. So why not get something good? The faucets, you know, if the mechanisms are not strong and it's plastic all up and things and leaks and stuff, come on, man. And a lot of the brothers from over here, when they go over there, it's right. You're right. They will do bare minimum. Like, I'm going to get this money because it took me a long time to get here. And now that I'm here, I'm not going to put out any more than what I have to. And then again, because they look at it this way too, where depending on the quality, and I have to say quality. Let's just talk about black folks. There are some black folks who will take care of things like it's their own. There's some who don't give a damn. There's some who will rent your place and be resentful of you. So they see all of this. And a lot of them make up their mind, I'm not giving any more than I have to. I'd rather repair it 10 times, 20 times, but I'm not going to buy that expensive thing. It is not about expensive, just get quality. And that's what I would do, and things would last. You know, I had nice pedestal sinks and nice windows and everything. And whatever they wanted, they got. So that, you know, they had to throw the rent at me. Like, yo, we appreciate you, man, because the last 3 places that we were in, it was terrible. You know, and check up on them. You need anything? I would get the Sunday paper back then early. And I told them, don't buy the paper. You know, don't waste your money. When I'm done, I'll start putting it out in the common hallway and take it and do whatever you want with it. You know what I mean? Little things like that make a big difference. And I'm just looking out for them, you know, and I had wonderful relationships. I had some bad apples that I'd have to bring in my neighborhood friends to prove a point that they didn't want to leave. Because, you know, in New York City, you know, you can take up to a year before you put out because they can play the system and not pay no rent. You better keep the electric. You better keep the water flowing. You better keep everything flowing for them in that year that they stay, that you go back and forth and mandatory. They can stretch it and you can't call any cops. You better not do anything shady. You know what I mean? But there's a way to do things shady to put the fear of God in them. You know what I mean? Especially when you know all the elements of the neighborhood who have nothing to do with the situation, but they can help you out. You know, I can tell you some stories on that, and I will tell you some stories on that. You know, exactly. Queen Red Pill, yes. Yeah. Oh, Glow, yeah. 26. I couldn't believe what? 2-bedroom, 3 bathrooms, half bath by the kitchen here. And each bedroom, one of the bedrooms, we got barrels on. I got barrels all over here and stuff like that. This is, like I said, a warehouse. This is just a little area on the side with my green painted wall to do my stuff. You know, the Scurv go to sleep in the back, even on a fancy bed. And it's not fancy. It's our bed that we had that we paid for. You know, that's in storage. I ain't gonna lie. I'm here, box spring and mattress on the floor. That I have a fabulous bed that if you probably saw it on Instagram or whatever. So I'm not caught up into that. It's whatever is needed for the time. I'm very durable. I don't have to walk around and yes, I have this and yes, I have. I'm not into that half stuff. Have a couple nice things, but hey, at 60 years old, ain't I allowed to have a nice bed? Ain't I allowed to have, you know what I mean, a nice dresser? Ain't I allowed to whatever? I'm not trying to be something, but we pass on and we leave these things. But you know, I don't want to have to go and buy 10 beds in a lifetime because they keep breaking down. We caught a good sale. I love that bed, you know, but that's just what it is. But they will cut corners on you ridiculously, especially in the States. You know, I had a Nigerian tenant. He's a very good guy, though, did good work. He forgot what kind of work he did. He used a computer a lot. And this back in the 90s before, you know, the computers are really super popping that way to do remote work, but he used it as much as he could. And he had to go around to different sites or whatever, something to do with waste management or whatever. But, you know, he found a good job, you know, and he worked it. And he had other Nigerians that came through. They were all friendly. They were all nice. He didn't screw me over any kind of way. But I know his mind was always working. See, us in America, maybe I'm wrong on this, but us in America, we know that we're born there, right? And even when you travel the world, but when you're born there and you live there and that becomes home to you, it's like you don't look at it different than when you come somewhere else. See, for me, if I said, I want to move back to America, honestly, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? We cashed out and came out here. I can do it. I'll find a way to do it. But right now, do I have enough jet propulsion to push me up from this, you know, to go that way? So you are where you are. But most of us who were born and raised in America, and we look at that place like it's home, you know, it changes how we see it. So when you do have people who come from somewhere else, like the motherland, they ain't playing. They ain't playing. Something that you dropping, oh, that's a nickel. They ain't picking it up. That's a pen. I'm not saying they're going to jump down and do that. It depends where they come from, because it might be one of them London Africans that make their noses in the air too. But when they come here hungry to America, they going to work it and they're going to cut corners too. Because what we may think is a normal, how could I put it? A luxury that we deserve. They may look at you and say, hey, the ones who grew up poor may say, hey, I didn't have nothing near that. And, you know, that's a luxury for me. Who do you think you are? They may not say it venomously, but it's like a whole different scale. So when we come here, we may think that way innocently, but wherever you go, you have to blend in where you are. You have to study the people and know that everybody doesn't think the same. You have to realize that you're seen a certain way. It may be different than the next person. So you got a lot of things when you move about here, this atmosphere, or any atmosphere. What if I move to Sicily? What if I move to Greece? I ain't going there. But I would have to assess what's around me, the climate of that place aside from me, because we tend to, no matter who we are, we think about the world from the inside out, right? So we forget that we're walking into someone else's world and their own perceptions of the world. So what is the reality of this world here in Accra? What are the perceptions here, just here without me, anything? How do they feel about it? How do they feel when they see me? What do they think I am? A lot of people don't do that and have a bad experience because they didn't acclimate themselves to where they are. And I'm a master. I'm not saying that like I'm caught up in myself, but I am a master of that. I discern things quick. I pick up on things quick. You say 2, 4, 6, 8, I'm like 10, 12, 14. You know what I mean? I pick up quick because I'm looking at everything. Like you see this microphone here, I'm looking at it from every single possible angle, you see, to see what it is. And you test the circuits, and then you use that same test on somebody else and see what the differences are. And why are there differences? How were you raised? Where did you come from here in Ghana? This is how I dealt with Ghana. Oh, I came up in the village. Okay. You mean way out in the village? Yes, where? Okay. And there's certain things that go along with that. Some were born and raised here and had a private driver to take them to school as kids. And, they feel you need to, they can't look at it, and they look at their own. Some of them, not even because they hate them, but they're saying, oh God, I'm more privileged. They're not, oh, they're so dirty. Oh. Me, okay, it's gonna cut off. I don't know, the internet is bugging, so it might knock me off. It knocks me off, I'm gonna stay off, but I'm gonna talk a few more minutes and whatnot. Maybe Mr. Scurv is back there using multiple gadgets that have the internet. But even in America, that's one of the problems that we have with each other as Black people, is that we don't try to see what the other one thinks, because the country is so vast, and there's so the Midwest, East Coast, South, East Coast, North, different age groups, different financial situations. What is the DNA of that person? What is the mental blueprint of that person? You all could be dressed up in a corporate setting, but one came from a very set of poor circumstances where there was trauma, but they overcame that. But they understand the trauma more than this next person who seems to be very nice, which they can still be nice, but their roots don't run deep where you can relate to them. So we have people who we wonder, how did they hit it off so good? Or people will say, how did Lance get over there and get along with so many people? Wherever I go, I can get along with people. If a person's a backstabber, gossip, a user, or some bad energy, I run them from me. I make them feel uncomfortable. I tell them who they are and what they are. That's the way I do, right? And it makes my life more easy instead of dealing with people who are going to try to stab you back 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and you're watching them and you're tense around them. No, get away from me. Be mad, talk about me, but I'm going to cut through this life like a sharp, hot knife through butter and make it easy for myself. A lot of people pretend and waltz around with negative energies. I don't do that. You have that out here, but it's a different way that they do it. Why am I so congested? I just finished drinking some tea. The tea's all gone. You ever see tea so sweet, you see a drop in there and you want to finish the drop? It tastes good. I'm gonna get some more in a little while. But yeah, there's just so many things we have to look out for. And if our filters are clogged, then we won't get through. Then we'll think it's everybody around. No, it's not. It might be you. It might be me. If my filters are clogged, and I unclog them or change the filter, and you change your filters, and we put everything in the proper place where we've been through in this life, and we can see each other eye to eye. There are many people who get to my age of 60 and their filters are so clogged, and they refuse to see that it's their filters that are clogged and it's the world's fault. Just hands down, all y'all are messed up. You got to see it my dysfunctional way. If it's not done my dysfunctional way, no, I don't want to know nothing else, because that means they have some work to do on the inside, and they don't want to do the work on the inside. You see? So it's a lot of things. This is why I study human nature. There are a lot of things that indicate to me what's inside of a person. Sometimes I might read it wrong. I got to think that way too, to say, hey, maybe I might be wrong in this. You have to take what you know, compare it to the new. Maybe it's comparable to something you've dealt with before. After a while, you go through life, you get easier. It becomes easier. And I don't put any one person into one category, because you might have your foot in multiple categories, right? I may see the side of one category at that moment, you know, where people will come back. The show I did the other day on porn, and I was cracking jokes and different things like that. They come back and they say, he's speaking so serious. He didn't crack a dirty joke. He didn't say anything sexual, because I have different branches on my tree. We all have different categories. I expose mine. You see the different categories of me. You don't have to show it. Nobody has to show it when they go out in the outside world, but it makes for a better, well-rounded 360-degree understanding of who I am on different shows and how I blend with different people. Tina Quant Horton, who came, you know, she was speaking about the foster care and stuff like that. There's certain things I would never say on a show with a young sister so distinguished doing something so positive. So people who roll with me understand that, and people who, you know, like there are people here who found out about, you know, social media that I do, and some are like, oh my God, this guy, he's radical. Because see, he is a very conservative place. Let me see. Ramo, greetings to everybody who I may not have acknowledged. Queen Red Pill, Riri, Kwame, Brother Kwame, everybody else up top, you know, when brother was talking. But here's a very conservative place, right? Everybody has to act a certain way. Like, we don't have nobody like acting really wild out there. But guess what? Any society that is highly conservative is like a pressure cooker. You have all these things. Everything is here that you have in the United States. Everything, all the freakishness, all the kinkiness, all of the decadence is here. But you got to go behind closed doors for that. Or you got to meet people on a different level and pierce through that. I've seen people come straight out of church and, you know, we'll keep it decent for this one. But yeah, with that, they have to maintain that facade, but it makes it more explosive. We have everything here. Even when I asked the cab driver, I think it was a straight up cab, it wasn't no Uber. They have Bolt and Yango here, which is like Uber. But we're in the cab and we're talking, because he's asking me stuff about America. He said, oh, how you like your visit? I said, man, it was a long visit of a couple of years. I said, I live here for good now. He said, man, what? You moved here? I said, yeah, isn't it beautiful? The beautiful beaches, the beautiful weather, the fruits, the vegetables. You know, it's a conservative place, nice and quiet, you know, low crime. Why wouldn't I want to be here? The money stretches a little better. Why wouldn't I want to be here? Oh, but you are American, and you know, you came from there. Everybody's trying to go to America. I said, listen, that's like jumping out from the pan to the fire. You want to go to the fire? At least I can tap dance on the pan for a little bit before I bounce, you know, but you don't want to jump into the fire. So he wanted me to explain to him why it was the fire. But I had a question for him at first. I said, listen, can I ask you something? There's a thing I've observed here that I don't see people doing. He says, what is that? I never see anybody smoking cigarettes. I never. And go back on all my videos and look. You never see people that even hiding a cigarette, you know, none of that. You don't see it. I say, why don't Ghanaians smoke cigarettes? He's like, brother, a lot of Ghanaians smoke cigarettes. I said, I don't see them. He says they buy the cigarettes and they do it in secret. because it's not a proper thing to do. I was like, whoa, that's how, I mean, and you got guys here who will rip you off, who will quietly steal from you. Crimes do go on, but they're all, it's a religious based thing. It's almost like when you hear, because right now in Jamaica, the reggae music is going worldwide, but the original stuff, like back in the 80s, you know, not the ska, but when you had these guys now talking about the rude boys, the bad boys and all this stuff, and they'll quote a scripture in one of the songs and turn around, you know, it's crazy. It's saturated in the religion, which is so rigid and so whatever. You have to be holy. Like guys don't walk. I used to say to myself, you have such well-shaped women here. Now, I'm not going out there looking for nothing, but I got to tell it like it is. I have not seen shapes like this. Y'all go on TikTok, you see some of the African girls, some of them doggy and ugly too. I don't call them sisters ugly, I'm just saying in comparison. But the bodies, because those who've worked in the villages and walk up and down and whatever, the physical ones, it's like going to the gym all day. Beyond that, right? So one thing I noticed, you see a young lady coming this way towards you, you're walking. You can already see that she's well built. They got well built brothers out here. I ain't looking at nobody, really. I'm just saying I ain't no homo, but give credit where credit's due. I've spoken on this before. And you'll see them coming. You're like, whoa, I don't see anybody coming out the gyms looking like that. And there'll be another dude that's walking faster than me, and he walks faster than me, and he don't turn his head. Like if some of these sisters were out there, and we got beautiful sisters in America too, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying pound for pound because of the sun, and a lot of them that are not skilled and they have to lift things and do things and whatever. And what there's not McDonald's on every corner. You got them out here ever increasing. You got a lot of obese people now coming up, but generally, and you just don't see it. But the dudes are like, it's nothing for them. You put some of them to walk down the street, and the women here don't know it either. You know what I mean? And I'm just being real in what I say. You have some sisters in America who are out there, who are going to the clubs, who are dating, who are not matured and settled down yet. Understand? So I'm not doing an American African comparison. I ain't no passport brother. You know what I mean? It's whoever vibes with me at the time. You know what I mean? Because I've dated Caribbean, American, African, whatever, Martians. Ain't no trans. I don't play that. But the women here really don't know what they have that way that would be translated into something of value in America. Like you see, this is not all our sisters, y'all. Don't think I'm saying it that way. I'm not one of them dudes. I'm just saying what it is. There are some sisters who have their sexy bodies weaponized. So if you want to get with this, you better be with somebody who you got this. They ain't no hooker, really and truly. In a sense, you can say that if you're, man, y'all are like hookers. No, but they're like, listen, you know, you ain't getting this anywhere else. I keep myself a certain way, whatever. Look at this body. They may not say that to the guy, but that's something that's an unwritten rule. Out here, I'm gonna say it the street way, just to punctuate the point. These girls don't know what kind of ass they got. Now, I'm not saying that to say that's all the woman is. I hope you all understand me. But on the street level out there in the States, it's the same as when Eddie Murphy said the thing about unfufu, and he got tired of dealing with materialistic women, and he went all the way out to Africa, way out. I mean, he said it in a stereotypical kind of way, and a woman with a banging body and a bone in her nose and a fucked up afro. Remember that? Name on Fufu, and she did him right until he brought her back to America and got with the girls. Eddie, I want half. Now it's not like that all the way, but I tell the brothers, when you come out here, don't think these chicks are dumb. Don't think they stupid. They may act naive and cool and laid back, and you saying, whoa, look at this, look at that. They're going to get you. They're going to get you faster than what you thought you was running from. So, you know, these passport brothers, man, don't think that it's about getting over and just sex and all this. A lot of them say, well, I want a woman who's not into the materialistic things, who are into me. And man, look, they might be setting you up. They might already have their dude already. Just because they look good to you and you don't want drama, They may have their dude already for the longest time, and you giving them money, and they giving the money right onto the dude. That happens a lot out here. There have been people who came to me crying for help. You know what I mean? You help them out a little bit. Exchange rate now is $1 for 12, $1 for 12 CDs. So if you give them $1, you know, they got 12 CDs. You give them $10, they got 120 CDs. It's really pretty much the same as far as spending power, but it usually goes a little more. People have asked me little things, oh, here, whatever, you know, here's 20, whatever, here's 30, here's 50, which 50 right now is around $10, $12, right? You turn around and they hooked up with the father of their child who ain't doing nothing for them, giving the money to him. That's not everybody, but there's an allegiance. So you have to see how things are culturally with the sisters that come out here. And, you know, Stella got a groove back, you know, might have been through a little bad relationship. You just want to come out somewhere different, warm. This is not Jamaica. To me, it's better. But, you know, you come out here and the brothers see that. They see that you are from America or the UK. You think they're going to treat you bad? They want to get out too. They're going to tell you all kind of things, just like an inmate locked up and got 3 baby mamas. He's telling each one that he's going to be with them. Just make sure my commissary account is full. And when he gets out, there's a 4th one y'all never knew. And y'all are trying to get him. You know, he's trying to arrange the visits different so you don't meet up. I've seen all the tricks. But yeah, the brothers out here, I'm not saying some of them are not sincere and they're not good men, because I know several relationships with American women and Ghanaian men that are excellent. It's just that they chose the right man. And as soon as you get to the airport, if you come here by yourself, you're going to feel like you're a star. The cab drivers are going to be on you. Mom, come, I charge you this. Come, let me help you. Oh, you are so beautiful. Oh, so-and-so. I would love to have a woman like you. They will flatter you. And don't be dumb, but take the flattery. Enjoy it. I'm not mad at you, but look at what's behind it, because some get caught up. And then we have the other factor of boing, yoing, 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 yoing. This is a mic, but it's a phallic symbol, if you know what I mean. They're going to do you just like an inmate that just finished doing 20 years. They're going to make sure that it's good. You know, some sisters in the hood, ain't nothing like that jail stuff. As soon as you come out. But what happens after a while, when the reality hits, you know, and there have been a lot of sisters who tried and dated. They've shared this with me, and I'm not saying no names, but you know, I get a lot of information and people tell me things. They say, well, you can say this, but don't say the name, or you can say that and you can say the name. I'm not going to really say names, but there are a lot who have come out, enjoyed the honeymoon phase of meeting somebody, and all of a sudden, and realize it's not like that. I'm not saying it's always like that. Just be careful. Be careful. And they're going to always find ways to get up under you. You know, like, okay, I'm good that way. I don't need it, but I can help you with this and whatever. No, it's okay. I want to rest. You know, you're renting a Airbnb or whatever. All of a sudden, you know, you've been up or whatever. You explored around a little bit, and you go to bed 4:30 in the morning. All of a sudden, it's 7 o'clock. Who? I am here. Who? The brother from yesterday, the cab driver. I want to take you around. I don't want to go around. I want to rest for a couple of days. It's just okay. You are hungry. I will take care of you. And they might spend money on you because they want to get a piece of that pension check or whatever. Because see, a lot of people know about that. You can't really come out here unless you have some kind of income and they know about that, because that's not the norm here. You work and you're going to work until you drop, unless you can put yourself in a position. You do have pension plans for the government workers, but from what I hear, it might be halfway all right for here, but your standard of living may drop. So you want to make sure that you have your things, not to be materialistic, you know, and you have something coming in. So if you got to sacrifice a couple more years out there, if you're interested in coming, if you don't have it that way, or if you do have lump sums over and above, still be wise with it, because money here, don't think, oh yeah, this is good. The exchange rate is good. It just goes because we forget. And it's a psychological thing too. Let's just say that the exchange rate is like 1 for 10. I always check it. And every time I check it, it's a little different than it was for before. Let me put dollar to CD rate. Let's see, and it fluctuates every few days, every day. Look at it, it's down a little bit now. It's at 11.63, which is below the 1 for 2, the 12. You know, for every dollar, you get 11.63 CDs. And it's just up and down, up and down. Not extreme, but enough to change how you live if you worked here and got paid here. Because that's no joke. We're going to get what the exchange rate is as people coming from other places. I'm just bouncing around talking about different things, y'all. You know, we hanging out, you know. What did Glow say? She felt like a star. Let me see. I felt like a star when I first went to LA many moons ago. Paparazzi was following me. I was just a regular sis. I understand what you're saying, but you're beautiful and you ain't regular. You're not regular. I know what you're saying, though. I know what you're saying, but you got that quality. You know, I see your Instagram. You got that quality. You got that thing going on. No matter where you go, they're going to treat you that way. Statuesque in the way you know, it's going to be like Patti LaBelle with it. Now, you're a beautiful woman. She's not trying to, she sings, but she carries herself a certain way. And you have the look and all that stuff. So that's going to be it for the rest of your life. You're going to continually, you know, and they're going to follow you around. If you came here, I'll be your bodyguard. Don't worry. I might get trampled, right? But yeah, it's just human nature is the same all over the world, but it depends the flavoring and how it's wrapped and how, you know, little differences and whatnot. And we just have to study and know the differences because we bring our own, you know, notions and preconceptions and hang-ups or thoughts on what a place is, you know. It's funny because sometimes I'm walking down the street and say on a young lady tip, I mean, not some younger, I'm just saying any woman, you know, it depends. And I'm afraid sometimes because they speak out here. Sometimes they look at you, don't say nothing. So you don't know what to do sometimes. And it's weird because sometimes you're walking down the street and you see a young lady and you want to say something, but I say, you know, if I say something, I hope she doesn't take it the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking about that. Like I don't want to insult anybody, like, because it's so conservative here. And they don't say good evening to you until they pass you by. When they parallel, good evening, and you're like, good evening. So that I feel bad because I didn't say anything first. Then sometimes when you say something first, they just look at you. And when they pass you, they say good evening. I'm like, it flips me out. It's different with the fellas. You know, you could tell the amount of ego in a lot of the brothers here by the way they deal with you. They some of them, my brother, how are you doing? Oh, good to see you, so-and-so. Either it's sincere or it could be, I'm going to be cool with this dude because he can hook me up with something. I'm not saying that's most of the case, but some dudes, they might be coming from work, have a little shirt and tie, and you know they're dressed the best that they could be. But when they come down, there's that Bruni intimidation. Like if this guy's living here, he's got money coming from somewhere else, and it's probably $1 million. You'll be surprised if y'all knew, right? But here's the thing. They don't know and they fill in the blanks. Worse, that now, and I told people before, the most Googled term on me in this part of Ghana is, you get ready for it, does LanceScurv work? Because they never see me come out. They never see me go into a job. They found out about me on social media. So it's like, he must be making lots of money doing that. Not no more. A little bit of stretch of time I did, about a year and a half, but it wasn't what these dudes are getting. Now, shoot, I can pay a cell phone bill still. That's about it. But you've been doing something for so long, so you don't stop. But that's the perception. So, you know, they and no matter what you do to blend in, they still think, you know, see, we in America, we think we have to see people with big rings on, jewelry, expensive cars, handbags, and clothes, and always going out to eat, never cooking at home, you know, eating out for dinner, the 5-star restaurants. So that's the things we look for. And even still in America, we get fooled because you can have a multimillionaire who, we all buffering again. Yeah, I was about to, you know, let me see here. Okay. Let me see what Kwame said. Is this thing not popping up? This internet is working slow. So-called a brony as if you are made with gold. Well, that's the perception, and I accept that because that's the perception. That's what it is here. They teach you things in the school here without really saying it. They teach people that this place is no good. They don't say it. They just say how great the other lands are, as though there's nothing to offer here. Now, they got so sick of the exchange rate. I don't know. I mean, I keep it with a lot of local news that Ghana has eventually, very soon, instead of using money to purchase oil, the CD that is doing poorly, right? And they have to purchase American dollars to go to purchase oil from the Saudis, right? But we got oil right here. I don't understand. So instead of using the American dollar, Ghana, in this respect, is going to dump the American dollar that is needed to purchase oil from the Saudis, and they're going to use gold, the gold that they have in abundance here. So it's going to be gold for oil. And I made a comment on one of the videos that I saw, and I make a lot of comments. The brother knows me that way. And he liked the comment. I said, it's going to be good for the Ghanaian people. And I hope the officials don't start double dipping, because it's going to be that way. That should boost everything. And it may not be overnight, but it should be something very swift to let go of the American dollar that way, because of how the CD is fluctuating. Take what you got to get more. You know, what you have in abundance, take that if they need it. Why are you letting other people come here like the Chinese and whatever and have their way? And you don't go and watch over their shoulders as much, and they're getting away with murder with a lot of things. They're doing a lot of illegal fishing here, right? The Chinese, they come in here, they have a port already. They were given a port, so they have free entry with everything, right? And with the illegal fishing, they go just beyond the water space of Ghana. And at night, they dip right on in and put the nets out. And they do that. And they're not cracking down on them hard enough. You know, but us who come here from America want to get some land, and we have a hard time, or some of you gotta be very careful how they try to rip you off. And it can be done. It's done a whole lot. But in any transaction, if you don't know, and I can't say I know everything, but deal with reputable people, check their track record, make sure, because folks the perception is you have money, you're here, your very presence is like going like this. Nah, 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 nah. You struggling, ha, ha, ha. I'm kicking back and getting money from America. I got these cameras walking around videotaping you poor people, which is not the way I think, but people who've come here like that. So you can't explain everything to everybody, but you got to move a certain way to let other people know, like, oh man, brother's not so bad. He's cool. But they always going to ask you, hey, bro, you have any money? Like you're at ATM. I'm not putting them down, but that's just the way it is here, you know. And that's why a lot of the people I used to see out in the street, you know, in the intersection, I got some good shots. I didn't care because a lot of them don't like that. I was in a taxi. I kept the camera right there in my hand, and I hooked my finger over a little vent and kept it right there. It's somewhere in the computer. I want to show you one of those clips. Maybe I'll put it on at the end of one of my rooftops I'm about to put up. But I used to think, man, these folks are so enterprising. They're working so hard. It's because they don't have a choice. I'm not saying this as a put down either, but they don't have a choice. Number one, I'm not saying everybody in America's on welfare or whatever. I'm going to say it like this. I'm not coming with any kind of funny put down on either side, but they have to. Look, you got homeless shelters in America. They're not the best situations. Of course, you don't want to really have to go to a homeless shelter in most cities. They're under par. You got all kind of people around you, and it's corrupt, but they have them. It may take a while to get an apartment with Section 8, but you can get one. It may take you 2-3 years. I don't know. You can get some type of health care from the state pretty much. I don't know the complications with that. If it's subpar, it may not be the best of care, but you can get it. You can get, before it used to be food stamps. Now it's the EBT card or whatever, right? You can get that and get money and get food. It may be limiting what you can get out here, that you can't get everything now, but you can get that. Here, there is nothing. Nothing. That guy you messing around with, he cut out on you when he found out you were pregnant. Ain't no child support here for that. But I tell you, there is child support, just like I've said before and again. I'm going to say it again. You come out here and you see these bootylicious sisters and they smiling and they all shapely and they come cook for you and it's all good. You fall asleep together, wake up. Oh my God, I'm in love with this woman. Look at her. She's so sexy. She's so beautiful. She's so subservient. Right? Not that it has to be some I'm serving you or submissive, like get down there, you're my slave. I'm just saying that and some good ones are out here like that, right? But as soon as you knocked up or knocked her up, she done went through your stuff. It goes down to the American embassy and says, I'm pregnant by an American man and presents your credentials. You're at the American embassy. That is American soil. So they got to call back and hook it up somehow where you get a DNA test or whatever have you, and you will be paying child support because you are an American. So be careful where you put your thing. Because they'll be right. And that's part of the hustle too. A lot of them know that. And I'm not saying that you can't meet someone out here and fall in love with them, but be careful. Be careful. You got some good actors out here, just like them dudes in jail who write them letters and you read a letter like, oh my God. I used to write letters for some of the guys because sometimes I was bored if I wasn't drawing a picture. I say, hey man, my girl left me, man. You know, Scurv, you got to get her back. You know, I say, what was your last grade level in school? Why you ask me that? I said, because I can't write like a college person and you got out the third grade, she ain't gonna believe you. You know, I'm just a high school guy, but I would write a lot of college papers for people who didn't have the time and pass them with flying colors, you know? So I kind of gauge it, tell me the situation. It was fun for me. Boom, I'm batting like 85%. Some of these guys did some things that ain't no coming back from it. No way. So anyway, listen, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna come back a little while. I have 3 Mrs. Scurv short things. 1 video, 2 little short things me and her did talking. And me and my friend were talking about boxing last night, so I threw that up. We might record one like that tonight. And I might do a Positively Andrew's coming back, what, next week? Next week? I think next week. Let me see. Let me check the time. I want a calendar, not a clock. Yeah. May 2nd. May 2nd, she's coming back. And she's going to come back. She's resting. And she's going to come back strong. But yeah, so I'll be back. I just want to work on these things, get a little more food. What I just ate, I put it up on my Instagram. And here's the empty. Big, right? Look at that next to my head. It's a big plate. Vegetables, a couple of potatoes, whatever. Just seasoned up nice. And here's my weakness. And you can get this in America. That's why we had to bring out a whole lot. Smokehouse, Grill Master Smokehouse Maple. Oh. They got, and listen, I'm not sponsored by these people. I'm just telling you a little thing. Don't pick up any, you might like another one. But this one here, the other one's like this. This one is like, whoop. You see if you can see it closer. The green screen might make it look funny. Grill Mates, I say Grill Master, right? Grill Mates, Smokehouse Maple. Man, you can, by McCormick, but it's got to be Smokehouse Maple. You put that on an old shoe. You put that on an old slipper. I put on, this an old slipper. Look how beat up it is. Look at the bottom of it. This an old slipper. It's so old, I just walk out the street with it sometime down the block. You shake this on this, you'll be eating slipper. I'm telling, no, not really, right? But yeah, like I said, it's this life is how you take it, how you make it, how you bend it around, how you see the world and whatnot. And I'm getting over a cold anyway. But yeah, life can be beautiful. Like I said, there's always kind of obstacles and stuff. Once you get the rhythm, it's like fighting a fight. Once you got your hands up and you got that rhythm, you think, okay, I got it now. It's like a dance. And it comes from within, but you know what your partner's doing. So you're like, boom, and your rhythm, boom, you know, boom, boom, boom. And you pick up their, you know, it's a thing. So if you can balance yourself and keep yourself afloat, your emotions in check, your mind sharp, your analytical skills, your gift of discernment, your focus, your ability to see beyond the clogging of your own filters, that's the main thing. Once you master that, you're good. You're good. Let me see here. Yeah. Well, that is a landlord, but there's two other guys who are telling me this too at the same time. One's coming out here in another week, and another one hasn't contacted me yet. But my landlord, I gotta put him through the filter a little more. And he has his own see, he's trying to do more, bite off more than he can chew. That's what I believe. But I don't think he's shady when it comes time to giving the cash and everything like that. But I'm gonna check him out a little more. I'm gonna watch some transactions and talk to the people. But I have some footage there, and I haven't done any more because he's been kind of neglecting things. So I want to see where his head's at. But there's a whole lot of people out here, not only like companies, there's a lot of individuals too who are doing smaller things, but you're not going to really see their internet presence because they're not big. So a lot of them, one person who from the UK wants me to go around down here and check some things. There's a lot, but you know, like me, you tell me I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to do the things right now. Not, well, I'm ready, and 2 months go by and I haven't heard from you. I'm not saying a person looking to buy, I'm talking a person looking to sell. And these are situations where I'm not even saying give me a cut. I just want to see if you're interested and it's something good that I can be in between, dude. I swear it's just the joy of it. Because I know I'd be scared as hell. I'm just a figure of speech. Scared as hell to go to another country and bring a large sum of money and drop the money and not really know all the things that's going on. And I don't know everything, but as I go along, I pass information along. And there are people that I know that are dealing with that dude that's all over YouTube, people complaining about him. I'll tell you the name another time on a conference call or whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm doing good business with him. I've been doing good business with him for a while. And I'm like, huh? I mean, there's videotape footage of him being a crook, running down elevators, jumping out of windows and stuff like that. And so that person's been like very aggressive with me to get with me. And I'm like, I'll talk with you myself. I'll see things for myself, but I'm not going to put something out and say, I'm here and this is the one. If I say this is the one, that means they had to tear everything out for me to see and show and prove. Because I don't want one person to get ripped off in my name, because that can tumble everything down. So I'd rather not until I know what a person's all about all the way. And like, why would I want to rip anybody off? Say somebody was buying a home and it ended up being $100,000 and well, Lance, I'll give you 5%. And I'm gonna lose my integrity and the trust that people have in me for $5,000. I need $5,000 right now too, really bad. But I'm not gonna sell nobody out. My philosophy is if I needed $1,000 right now, right? And you told me, well, you know, you got to pay about X amount of time. You give me a lot of time. I may squeeze it back some. Or like if you're negotiating and, you know, make it easy for yourself. But a lot of folks get too gung-ho and crazy in this economy and, you know, spending a little bit too much because of their anxiousness. I have patience. I will outwait. Look, once I pick up this pad and this paper and I'm drawing, you see all my shows on the back that I'm going to do, the titles and stuff, as I write them down. I'm in there like this, taking my time, playing my music. I ain't trying to hurry up and mess up. No, I'm right down in there, shading the eyeball, putting the cracks in the toenails. You know what I mean? If somebody has fleas coming from out their crotch, like the Statue of Liberty, I'll do that too. Take your time. And people who are looking to rip you off do not want to take time. Yeah, yeah. And those international scammers, those are the ones you want, because it's more leeway because they know that you're not here yet. You want to be breathing down a person's back. And there's procedure that you got to go through. Like no doubt, you got to be there. You know, I'll do it for you. Think no. So if you don't have if you're not there, you gotta have a person there. You know, and when I do something for groups of people or any one person, I'm bringing the camera. Every transaction that lands commission or signing or something before they send it back, the person who's signing, I'm gonna get the number. I'm gonna find out where they, yeah. Because that's all you hear. Oh, be careful. All they do is rip people off. We weren't ripped off. You see what I mean? I'm not going for that. Because they think I'm scared to do something. A lot of land out here, a lot of alligators and crocodiles. Don't cross me up. For real. Well, let me go because this is basically Neil's show. I'm gonna eat, take a little air, walk maybe, and I'll come back later on and do a little work. And I know I usually do a 10 o'clock show, but I put my little time in on this, and I'm not gonna stretch it out too much. I'll come on before I go to sleep, and then we'll do like a conference line or whatever. So thank you all for being here with us. Brother Neil is exceptional. He always comes with some facts, not some smoke and mirrors, hocus pocus, whatever that feels good. But when you say, the hell did he really say? With him, he's telling you facts. That's why it's an honor to have him on every Monday night. I'm right here on time waiting for him. Everything done. So whatever he says the title is of next week's show, it's going to be a wrap. You're going to see it sitting up there waiting, for the time for it to come. Master Glam in the house. Yes. And like I said, I want to say it again. I'm so proud to be amongst such wonderful, intelligent people. And one of the best chat rooms, you're not a chat room, I'm saying, but the interaction in the chat room, and it's not no stupid back and forth rolling around and, back in Egypt, I'm debating with you that Hotep so and so. No, my brother, it's not that way. So, come on, man. And we got issues going on now. That's nice and everything, but come on. You know what I mean? It's like WWF for the Hoteps. It's a waste of time. What are you doing now? What are you doing for the people information-wise? Or at least to motivate them at least, right? That's the bottom line. So anyway, I might play a little Farrakhan tonight, but I'm going to play this song first. The song. The song. All right, y'all. Much love to you all. I will talk to you in a little while. I'm going to hit up before I go to bed. It won't be I say 10 o'clock for me because it's 9:38. So that means it's 5:38 East Coast time. So since I went over a bit, I'm going to push that back a bit. We'll come up with something good to talk about. Anyway, we're going to get in on the church this week again, and some other things and package a different way, different titles, but we'll deal with the same demons like we did the other week. So we'll get ready for that sometime this week. We're just starting this 5-day week off, so we're good that way. Anyway, much love to you all. I'll talk to you in a little while. LanceScurv out. I'll be back.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like home. Yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out of my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. All that I crave when you're away, nights are sleepless. Do we need space? Yeah, maybe a break. Boy, you're my weakness. Give and we take, the love that we make, it's my favorite drug. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like home. Yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. You got me feeling some type of way. You make me wanna stay in all day. You're the reason I can't get out my head. I just can't stop thinking about you. 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 Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like home. Yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. All that I crave when you're away, nights are sleepless. Do we need space? Yeah, maybe a break. Boy, you're my weakness. Give and we take, the love that we make, it's my favorite drug. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like home. Yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. You got me feeling some type of way. You make me wanna stay in all day. You're the reason I can't get out my head. I just can't stop thinking about you. 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 I just can't stop thinking about you.
John Hawkins showed up in our country, telling us of a land filled with luxury. He said, black man, follow me to America. There you'll find more gold for your labor. Our foreparents were tricked onto his boat. Since that time we've been wrestling with the goat. We landed here in Jamestown, Virginia, 400 years to suffer. So my friend, it's easy to tell, white man heaven is black man hell. When the slave master wanted to have some sport, he would heap on our parents' cruelties of the worst sort, burn them at stake, hang them on trees. His ears were deaf to our parents' pleas. Though you were pregnant, black woman, you pull the plow like a horse, like a dog, even a cow. He filled your womb with his wicked seed. His half-white children you were made to breed. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell, white man heaven is a black man hell. So-called Negro, open up your eyes. Black man everywhere is on the rise. He has kicked the white man out of Asia, and he's going fast out of Africa. With every ounce of strength and breath, his cry is give us liberty or give us death. The whole black world has their eyes on you to see what the so-called Negro is going to do. So my friend, it's easy to tell, our unity will give the white man hell. God made a promise to Abraham, his seed would be a stranger in a foreign land. They would suffer and be afflicted 400 years, but he would come, wipe away their tears. Our God and Savior, Allah has come. He has declared the white man's day is done. He has given us a divine messenger, one prophesied to come. His name is Elijah. We now can stand up, the whole world to tell. Our God has come to give us heaven and take the devil into hell. Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our names, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly. Before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China he took silk and gunpowder. From India he took jute, manganese and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast he took barrels of oil untold. Raping, robbing and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Before we came to America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and firewater. With tricks and lies he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell.